First story of today. James Milner, a report coming from The Athletic, claims that James Milner, Jurgen Klopp wants James Milner to stay at Liverpool. Milner's representatives have held initial talks with the club, but it is understood that FSG will make the final decision regarding an contract offer for the 36-year-old. Matty, at the moment, midfield is our most stock position, proven by the lack of game time for the likes of Harvey Elliott, Oxlade-Chamberlain, Curtis Jones to an extent. He's mainly the one who comes off the bench. It's not like we need James Milner, is it? But he is a good asset to have in a changing room.
Yeah, I have always been in the camp of James Milner getting a new contract, to be honest with you. I think it's quite divided in the fan base because loads of people say, like, get rid. I'm not in the boat of giving him a new contract on the wages he's on now, though. I do think a wage reduction, and I'd keep him. But I've always said, if you ask Gerrard what Gary Mack influences was like on him as a player, he'll tell you how big it was. Having James Milner there when anyone's coming into the side as new signings, whether it's academy players, he's won it all. He's the perfect professional footballer who's looked after himself all these years. He's the perfect role model to have around. So, yeah, I do think Milner should have a new deal, 100%.
James, as Matty said there, his wages at the moment are 140 grand a week. That's on the top end of our wage structure. It's the only people who are really earning higher than him are the likes of Thiago, Van Dijk, Salah, Mane. Alisson, I think, just got one to sort of match him. That wage doesn't really, represent what he offers to the club in terms of playing time. Maybe in the dressing room, but on the pitch, he's not that. He's not as much of a player that he was a few seasons ago when he was playing, left back and helping us win games then.
Yeah, but you've got to remember the way that the Liverpool wage structure is put together is Milner doesn't play and he's on 140 grand. And yes, that's probably one of the higher bases that we've got in the club. But Liverpool are built on bonuses, appearance bonuses, goal bonuses, clean sheet bonuses, and everything that goes with it. So a player like Salah's probably getting, as much as his base might be here, he's probably earning a lot more up here because of everything that we put in. So the fact that Milner's on 140 grand a week, let's put it into context. He's not playing, so he's not getting all the bonuses that everyone else is getting. So that's pretty much his income. Now, is someone of Milner's quality worth 140 grand a week? Probably, to be honest.
I think, I don't know what anyone else can say, but I don't think quality on the pitch is worth 140 grand. I think what he offers to the dressing room.
Yeah, I think what he offers to the dressing room and his experience and knowledge and willingness to win, really, at all costs, he's worth that, definitely. But I agree with what James said. Haven't we got the second highest wage bill?
Yeah, it's up there, yeah.
It's because we keep winning. It's just such a problem, isn't it?
That's the incentive to win, isn't it? I agree with our wage structure, to be honest with you. Like, you say to Mo Salah, you want to earn, if say his base is 200 grand a week, you want to earn 200 grand a week, fine. But if you want to earn what works out to be like 500 grand a week, go and win us everything. Simple.
Yeah, Damon, it's a lot of people have called for him to maybe go into more of a coaching role. I think that's what personally I wouldn't mind seeing. I wouldn't mind a wage reduction to maybe less than 100 grand, but he becomes part of Klopp's coaching staff. Not like an assistant manager, but less game time, more coaching experience, and maybe we can bring someone like Harvey Elliott in and maybe drop Jordan Henderson back to the James Milner role. I think it is time we start maybe looking forward for the likes of Henderson and Milner for their next role in the club.
Well, like you said, that's the only way I'd take Milner on a new contract if it was the coaching role as well. I agree with Matty and James to an extent in terms of the experience he brings and things like that. In the last 3-4 years, that has been vital to this Liverpool team. James Milner's experience has been absolutely vital, not just on the pitch, but in the dressing room. But because of the experience we've had there over the years, I think we've already got players there now that have had that similar experience of James Milner, like Jordan Henderson. So I think Jordan Henderson will take up the James Milner role, in terms of bit part appearances here and there. If we get like someone like Tchouaméni, we'll talk about later on. So I don't see the point in keeping James Milner, if I'm honest. I think he will be just taking up another squad number for no reason when there's probably a good youngster out there, whether it's in our academy or around Europe. It seems to this point now, I think Klopp loves James Milner to the point it feels like, you know, that kid that their dad's the coach when you're younger and they keep getting played. And it's like, yeah, that's my son on there. You know, every 87th minute, Klopp brings him on. You know, Milner comes on pitch. Is that, you know, that's my son, makes me proud and everything like that. And that's what it feels like now.
Alex Bruce.
Yeah, exactly that. But you know what? If I were keeping James Milner, like Charlie said, it'd be a coaching role, if anything. Now,
I think when he comes on, he sees the game out. To be fair to him, and he always gives you a 7 out of 10, no matter where you play him on the pitch.
See, I think Henderson could do that. Though I think Henderson could do that.
I think Henderson's better than that. Jordan, we wouldn't have won yesterday without Jordan Henderson. That's just simple.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. The bit parts, I think if it's being someone like Tchouaméni, and I think Henderson will take a back seat, not a 2 back seat. I think he will play in big games and when we need him, but not every week.
I think we're talking about the wrong players, though, aren't we? It's the Ox that's going. If Milner stays, it's the Ox that's going, and we still need to bring someone else in because he's on 120 a week. Would you pay Milner 120 a week to play the Ox role?
Probably, yeah.
Well, the Ox role is not playing at all, though.
Exactly.
Like, I wouldn't pay anyone 120 grand a week to sit on a bench all day.
Really quickly, grand a week to win the hip hop battle in pre-season tour, and that's it.
We're turning to Man United. We're going to turn to Man United if we start doing that. I don't even think about doing that.
Gary Mack barely played. Gary Mack barely played, but his influence on Stevie's massive. He's still working with Stevie now. Like, that's the type of person. Like, look at Milner. I do think that having someone like that around, he's the perfect professional. Why would you not keep him? In my opinion, like him going to someone. I think if Leeds would have stayed up, because I do think they'll go down now. I think if they stayed up, he might have went there. But him going to another club is an asset because his winning mentality and his professionalism, what he can rub off on the younger players, that's an asset to a football club. So, in my opinion, don't get rid of an asset and give a rival an asset. I'm not saying he goes like anyone massive, maybe go to Villa if they wanted him if Leeds go down, but I don't think it'd be smart to get rid of Milner just for his experience in his head.
Yeah, I mean, you know, I see where Damon is coming from as well, especially with the, you know, when he first joined, Milner was that player who'd won, you know, Premier Leagues. He'd been part of successful teams, but now you look at it and how many leaders that we have in the team. You know, Joe Gomez was a youth level international captain. Virgil van Dijk's the captain of his country. Robertson's the captain of his country. Mane's the vice captain. Salah's the captain. You know, you look all around the pitch and you've got leaders absolutely everywhere. And, you know, I think maybe in like 2016, 2017, when Klopp was building, that was when Milner was really vital to a lot of people, especially Jordan Henderson. I think probably Milner was somebody who showed Jordan Henderson how to sort of take over as a captain and lead, because after that, that's when we saw Jordan Henderson thrive in the likes of 2017, 2018. So I do think he's been massive. I do think he's just starting to come to an end. But just really quickly before we move on to the next, I'll just go around everyone. And would you sign him to a deal? But Matty, I'll start with you. A 1-year deal as well, which has been reported.
Yes, 100%.
James?
Yes.
Damon?
The deal that's been offered now.
Yeah, no, I'd agree. Not a deal that's been offered, but I would.
What's on 300 grand a week? What do you think Pep Linders is on? Half that, which is exactly what Milner's on. Sorry, I'm just gonna. Yeah, all right.
I don't think Pep Linders is on that much. If I'm being honest, I feel like he's just don't get off.
Yeah, he's definitely about because Klopp didn't take a pay rise in this contract, but he asked his coaching staff too.
Yeah, coaching staff. Milner would not be an assistant manager.
No, I'm not saying that. I just mean I reckon Pep Linders probably is on about 150 now. Easy.
Maybe.